The No Fate channel. Checking in, Jonathan here, and today we are starting with one crate, 1,400 pounds, and inside is the Landmark Everest All-in-One home gym. This is not a quick unboxing. This isn't some highlight reel. This is a step-by-step instruction tutorial, and I'm installing this all by myself. Army of one. So before you buy the Everest, and definitely before you assemble it, you need to watch this video. There are a few steps on this build where if you make the wrong choice, it's gonna cost you hours. No! So I'm gonna tell you how I did it, and more importantly, where you need to slow down and focus. Step number one, we've got to unbox this beast. If you're like me and you're an army of one, it may take you 45 minutes, and this is where having an extra set of hands is good. By all means, make sure your utility knife is sharp and have a bunch of extra blades on hand. And before you go all G.I. Joe and get gung-ho, putting these pieces all over your home gym, take a breath. Take a step back and think about where they're going to go. If you put them on top of the space you want to assemble this thing, you're going to eventually be moving these things twice. Stay neat, stay organized, and put the stuff adjacent to where you want to assemble this. The next step is one that, listen, I'm guilty of skipping too, and that is to actually read the instructions. Oftentimes we get a brand new piece of home gym equipment and we dive right in. We open up all the boxes and we just flip open to page number 1. Don't do that. Flip through all the pages, read through all the instructions so you can see the entire process before you even start.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
I know, we haven't even connected one bolt or upright yet, but there's still more steps to do.
What?
And this one's not in the instructions manual, and that has to do with the cables. When you get these in, they're wound up, and who knows how long they've been wound this tight. You want to open them up, lay them out, stretch them out, and leave them there. That lets them kind of uncoil. And what that's going to do later on in the build is when you finally, at the last step, run these cables, they're going to run so much easier. I know some of you home gym heroes are probably ready to pause the video and get started with your assembly. You got to wait till the end of the video or it could cost you hours. There's certain steps where if you do them wrong, you're not going to know until the very end, and you're gonna have to start taking everything apart. Now, I do recommend following these instructions if you've got an extra set of hands. The more people you have helping you out, the easier it's gonna be, and you're gonna save at least an hour, maybe more. But since I'm assembling this by myself, I'm actually gonna take the first 3 steps and switch them around a little bit. I'm actually gonna build the back upright rectangle on the floor and then hoist it up, and then move and build the front rectangle, hoist it up, and connect the two. Now, both methods are going to get us to the same destination, but if you're by yourself and you follow this, you're going to have to be holding up the rear super heavy nameplate while you try to connect it on either side, and it's going to be just a world of stress. For these massive trolley arms, there is in fact a right and left side. You want to make sure that the handle is on the outside of the rack, and you want to make sure that this pop pin underneath is facing down, okay? So just take a half a second, make sure you got the right ones on the right way before you go forward. Now, the bottom cross members are another piece that have a right and wrong way to install them. So you can see this piece, it looks like you could put it on either side, but this rear pulley, this is the one that goes in the rear, has to be angled towards the middle, towards the middle of the rack. It's hard to see because this angling is slight, but you need to have it make sure it's angled towards the middle of the rack, because this is something that you won't realize you screwed up until you run the cable, which is like the last step in the process. So you want to make sure you don't screw this one up. This is the part in the installation that isn't talked about in the instructions, and that is lining up your rack. At a certain point, the rack becomes so heavy, you just can't move it. So before you go too far down that rabbit hole, make sure this is lined up right where you want it to be. I personally, I'm gonna put it right up against the wall, make sure I've got enough space left and right, and go to work. Another thing not mentioned in the instructions, but you may already be aware of, don't just start tightening down the bolts. You put this thing up, it's wobbly, you think you should tighten it down for safety reasons. No, don't do any of that, because it's going to make the assembly, the rest of it, that much harder, because everything's gonna have such tight tolerances. Leave them loose and just wait until the very end.
Perfect.
The hardest part about assembling something, especially this heavy, is when you're on a ladder by yourself trying to hold up like a cross member here and get these bolts through. So what I was able to do is I just kind of pre-positioned the bolts, popped them in, got this piece up, and then after it was all secure, I went back and put this piece in. It's a lot easier to do them in 2 steps versus 1, because if you've got to hold this and try to hold this, it's a recipe for disaster. If you're enjoying watching me sweat and struggle during this installation, and you're interested in anything that Landmark Athletics sells, whether it's this Everest All-in-One Home Gym or anything, check out the affiliate links in the description. It certainly helps out the channel. It takes a little bit of money out of millionaires' pockets, and it's not a one-way street. When you use those links, you let Big Papa Pump know so that I can send you a small token of my appreciation. It looks like we've made great headway in the installation, but I hate to break it to you, we're only about 1/3 of the way through as far as the total workload goes, but we're gonna champion on. Right, if you're following along in the book, this is supposed to be step 5. This is the Smith machine that we're attaching. Go slow. If you install this on the wrong side, you're gonna be in a world of hurt. So each side has a left and a right. Keep in mind you wanna have the metal pins on the outside, as well as the fact that you wanna have this hook facing in. You also wanna be using this elongated bolt, and you're gonna be using the 6th hole from the front. So you just count in 6 on the top and the bottom. Bob's your uncle. Also in step number 5, it tells you to install the plate shrouds on the rack. Don't do that. It's just gonna make running the cable a little more difficult, and we don't need it to be more difficult than it's gonna be. After you go ahead and attach the 2 bolts of each side for the barbell, which is pretty difficult as one person. If you have a second set of hands, or if you have a kid, that might make it go a bit quicker. You do need to tighten this hook down to the bar so that the hook will rotate as you rotate the bar. And you just want to do all 3 of these on each side. So 6 in total, and they provide the Allen wrench. Cable end cap installation. First thing, you're going to take this piece, slide it in as such, take this metal ball, you're going to put it in, pull down. That's going to lock it into place, and then you're going to pull this back. Once it's locked in this orientation, this is the only way it can go, you're going to take said bolt, put it in, and tighten it all the way down. You're going to feed the cable up, through, underneath this pulley here, and then it's going to rise up to that pulley, and it's going to do a straight shot right across to the next pulley. Then it's going to drop down, and you're going to run it underneath this bad boy, and then right back up to the next two pulleys, and then it's going to come back down. I know it's confusing, stick with me. Underneath this pulley, and then right back up underneath that pulley, and then it's going to come over here, and then it's going to come all the way to the front. And at this point, you're actually going to take this end and make it look like this, because at the time that you run it, it's going to look like just a little bit of a knob. So you should have everything looking pretty nice at this point. Keep in mind, everything in terms of the bolts are loosened. Nothing's been tightened down yet. Now, if you do have twisting in the cable, you shouldn't, but if you do, you can actually remove some of the slack, pull this up, and literally like just twist it with your hands and let it work itself out. You want to just kind of make sure that it's even and that it's relatively flush. So we have run the top side cable one time. You don't want to do it a second time until you run the bottom side cable to make sure everything is working correctly. You got everything set up, you know the routine on one side before you then repeat the process on the opposite end. Second cable, home stretch on this one side. You're going to take the end that's going to be like a nub, and you're going to turn it into one of these like I've previously showed you. You go in, you're going to go down, underneath, you're going to go through this passage, around this pulley. Now this is a tough one. You're gonna need small hands to kind of get this thing hooked around. If you have real difficulty, you could undo this bolt, but I would use that as a last resort. What you could do if you're really tight is to get like fishing wire or string and tie it to the end and then kind of snake it through. But again, just take your time, go slow. It's gonna be easier if you don't get frustrated with it. Then through here, underneath here, up, around here, down, underneath this one, straight shot over here. And then you're gonna come up and you're gonna put it in here. Just put it in here, tighten one down gently so it just won't pull out. Because again, this is gonna be something we're gonna utilize in order to put tension on the cables at the very last second to make sure that this whole thing is dialed in precisely so that this tension on this side and this tension on this side, which we haven't even installed yet, are gonna be exactly the same. And that's gonna go for down here too. We're gonna dial all of this in at the very end. So you don't want to over tighten this, and just have a little bit of patience on how this is all gonna play out. Now we've run one side of the cables, 2 cables total, on this side. Now this is a great time for a proof of concept. Even though this is all wobbly and nothing's dialed in, we're gonna put about 5 pounds on here and we're just gonna give it a pull. Does it pull smooth? Does it feel smooth? Right now, think about this. If it feels smooth, nothing's pulling, nothing's tugging, nothing's rubbing, you're good to go. And it's only gonna get smoother from here once we tighten it down and iron everything out as far as the cable tension goes. But if you feel like it's rubbing against something, you gotta go through the process and figure out what mistake you made. Take your time, go slow, and before you start the second side, make sure this just kind of pulls slow, that you feel it. And don't forget the bottom one here. Do the same exact thing. It should feel smooth. There should be no rubbing. Check your work. We're almost at the end. Stick with us. We are finally at the time where you can tighten down all of these bolts. You are going to need a pretty massive socket. But good news is Landmark Athletics provides the socket, provides a little tightening wrench to put on each side. Boom. If you've got an impact wrench, it'll go even faster. Now that everything's tightened down, locked down, you want to adjust the cable tension. You have 3 locations to adjust the cable tension. One is right here at the weight stack. You can adjust this up or down. If need be, you can actually remove the pulley, just unscrew it, tighten it down as far as you think you need to go, and then put that pulley back in. The second place is right here. You've got a dual pulley system, but it's got different holes for you to move them up or down. Honestly, hopefully you don't have to adjust these, but if you did, you could absolutely remove a pulley, move it up a hole, move it down a hole as you need. And the third and final location is right here, where you are going to tighten down this cable. If you need more tension, you're going to pull it up and tighten it down. Or if you need less tension, you're going to just lower it a little bit and tighten it down. The idea is to pick the tension that you like. Some people like it really tense, some people like it a little loose. That's fine. Pick what you prefer and match each side. You want to make sure that each side has about the same tension so that when you're using both hands at the same time for a low row or a lat pull down, it's going to feel nice and even, nice and consistent. And just like that, we are at shroud time. Go ahead, you can finally now install those plate shrouds. Bonus step, if you do have the weight storage pins here, you can actually install them in 2 locations. Right here in this metal piece sticking straight out, and that is good if you want to minimize the space that this thing takes up on the sides. I will say I prefer to utilize this for like attachments and stuff like that. I'm going to be putting this in the second possible place, and that is along the side. It makes it much more convenient to take the weight off, load it on the bar, take the weight off the bar, put it back on the weight storage.
If you made it this far in the video, congratulations. You have officially assembled the Landmark Athletics Everest All-in-One Home Gym, and you deserve a day at the beach. Hey, if you're interested in the Landmark Athletics Everest or anything else that they sell, use the links in the description. It certainly supports the channel. Most importantly, as usual, thanks for watching, and don't save anything for that trip back.
That was easy.